Okay, everybody, we're back on YouTube today with an absolute banger of a video, and I'm going to show you the exact process that I used to take one of my students from a 9-to-5er where he was stuck on a building site each and every day, every single day, laying bricks unfulfilled because he knew that he could achieve more, but he actively wasn't stepping into it. And then as soon as he did step into what he believed he was capable of with the vehicle that we designed, not only did he get to 5 figures a month, but now he's making over $5,000 a week in commissions every week for this entire month so far. He is absolutely cooking right now. He is literally Newcastle's best up and coming closer. And of course, he was obviously taught by the best. So I'm going to show you today the exact process that I've taught him. Okay, so we're going to run through today my student Max, going from £2,000 a month as a bricklayer in this very picture right here. This is back in September, to making over $6,000 last week in commissions, traveling the world here. This is in Mexico and Cancun. This is Dylan right here. I have no idea who this is. This can be Jose, but they're in Mexico together, traveling the world, and one of the other boys from the program, Mason, was out there with them, and they were all cooking, and they all hit record months when they were together, and 2 of them, or 3 of them even, met from inside the program. In this picture, you'll see, in Max's ears, he has earphones in his ears. You know what he's listening to? I asked him, he said, "I'm listening to your sales calls in this picture." Can you imagine that? And now he's in flipping Mexico, traveling the world. How did we do it? Well, you see, the most interesting part about this, right, is that I never taught Max how to sell. I taught him something completely different. Because the biggest mistake that I see salespeople make every single time, from beginner to experienced to advanced, is it all comes under one big fat umbrella. The cost of this mistake is so huge, yet to 99% of people, it literally remains invisible. Whether they're beginning to get into the space, whether they're already in the space, they just fail to see it. Now, the reason that I'm able to see it is because I've been in the industry for 5 years. I've taken over 10,000 sales calls at this point. Because as soon as you see this, you literally can't unsee it. You feel it. It becomes recognizable everywhere that you look. And once you recognize a problem, you become aware of the problem. And when you become aware of the problem, you realize that you can actually solve the problem. So the first part is generating awareness, right? Max learned how to overcome this, and within a week, he made $6,000 in commissions. Rohan implemented what I will teach you today, and he made Rohan implemented what I will teach you today, and he made $4,000 a week in commissions. Dylan downloaded this and took it into his sales calls and made $3,000 a week in commissions. Ironic, isn't it, right? Like, you understand this one concept and your game can change completely. And for all of these people that you see, they all started from zero. Zero experience, zero knowledge, zero idea on where to start. And all I did was teach them one method, which you're going to learn today. You're going to learn the anti-pressure sales system. This is the system that I use to get people to sell themselves, because I don't want to have to sit there and sell prospects time and time and time again. I want the prospect to be able to sell themselves. This is the art form. This is the whole trajectory that you need to go on as a closer to be able to actually consistently make 5 figures a month. This will detail everything that you need to achieve. This will detail everything that you need to achieve the exact same thing that I've just explained as everybody else has as well. 1, installing the money mindset method. 2, building the roadmap, the skill set, learning the power of influence, and the teachings of getting somebody to sell themselves. I'm going to teach you how to land an offer, not just your standard 3 to 5k a month OTE on target earnings, but actually landing you an offer that will genuinely change the trajectory of your career. 4, becoming number 1 on the offer, and not actually letting. And number 4 is becoming number 1 on that offer, because so many people, they hit number 1, and I've been guilty for this too, and then they begin to let it slip. But what I'm going to teach you is how to maintain an easy standard so that you can not just hit and achieve number 1, but you can stay at number 1. I used this process to make $21,000 in commissions in a single month from taking 4 calls a day. So, how does it work? The first step is building the skill set. As you can see, this is me live and direct on a closing call in Bucharest in a penthouse. And I closed this one for $7,000, I'm pretty sure. After this, it's all about landing the offer, right? Because as soon as we have the skill set, there's no point dicking about trying to continue to improve your skill set until you just can't improve it anymore. Land the offer, because the best skill set that you're going to develop is by actually jumping on the calls, not by smashing out role plays. So you need to land the offer. After you land the offer, it's about becoming number one on the offer. As you can see here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, including me, and I'm obviously at the top. $184,000 in cash collected within the space of a month from taking 3 to 4 calls a day. Now, for those of you who don't know, you get 10% of this number as a closer. So that's $18,412.85 from working 4 hours a day, 6 days of the week. Stage 4 of the process is making tons of cash. Because as you can see, right, like what we're about making the money. This is my first ever 14k paycheck. Look, Rohan 4k in comms for the week. This is the first week into May. Max, 12k for the month already. Julius made $22,000 in a week. Mason made like $8,000 in a month. So the first thing that you need to know is the money mindset method. I'm not going to bang on about mindset because everybody loves to do this, and like talk is cheap and it's much easier to show you through. The money mindset method is very bloody simple. You have to act as if, right? Because without the right mindset, there is no skill set. The only framework that you need, act as if. Because this was and is the mindset that has brought me so much success and continues to bring me so much success. This is literally the same mindset that I use to take my business from zero to $96,000 in a month to going up to $150,000 in a month. Same mindset that I teach to my students to take them from 0 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, so on and so forth. All it means is you have to act as if you are the version of you who is already successful. How they think, how they operate, how they feel, how they act. Then you have to understand that in order to become him, you need to act like him. It's as simple as that. Pause this video now, grab a pen and paper, and write down the 2.0 version of me who makes $20,000 a month. He does this, and then go and do all of that with enough repetition, and you will begin to make that kind of money. Let's break it down. I'm not going to leave any stone unturned, so do pay attention. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. If you're not going to pay attention, then the video is probably not even worth it. Skill set, anti-pressure sales system. Everyone likes to buy, but no one likes to be sold. Can you remember the last time you spoke to a salesperson and enjoyed being sold to? Probably not. So how can you get somebody to buy without actually selling them? Because think about the prospect's mind when they enter a sales call, right? You actually have to enter their way of thinking. Because they're going to enter that call based on how they see salespeople, which is stereotypical. Slimy, salespeople just want your money, they're pushy, they're arrogant, terrible listeners, and whatever other persona, stereotype that you can think of for a salesperson, that is what the person thinks coming into the call. So if they've built up this perspective in their head of what a salesperson actually is, when they come into the call and meet you, what type of perspective are they going to even have on you before you've even spoken one word? They're going to see you as slimy, like you're money hungry, like you're pushy, arrogant, terrible listeners, who knows? And so look, are they going to bring this type of energy, nice and relaxed? Or are they going to bring this energy, closed off, don't talk to me, tell me what you do, and let me leave the call? Obviously, they're going to bring this one, right? But not all is lost, because step 1 is about removing the pressure from the conversation. You want clean background, you want to be well-groomed, good lighting, good studio. You want clean background, well-groomed, you want to have good lighting, good audio, nice smile, jokes, and you want aura. I'm going to show you 2 examples of this. This right here is a bad setup. You can see here the lighting shit. You can see the posture's terrible. Just bed in the background, light behind me here. There's so many things wrong with this. And I did actually close the sales call with this setup. But anyway, this is not the point. This is a good setup, right? Look at this. Lighting, perfect on my face. We got the lights behind for mood. We got a little plant pot in the top corner. We got the microphone here. Everything just points to high aura, high status, high authority, killer fucking salesperson. Who would you buy from? You jumped onto a call. This looks like a prospect, right? This looks like how a prospect turns up to the call. You should not be turning up to the call like this. You should be turning up to the call like this. Good setup, nice lighting. The idea is that your setup looks professional, right? Because they're going to have more reason to listen to what you have to say. 3 reasons why this is key. Aura, authority, and your own flow state. Because the more that you're in your own environment, the more you're going to come into such a better flow state. The more that you're consistently working in the same place, the more thoughts, the more emotion, the more momentum that you're going to gain when you're in that space. Your brain will associate work and creativity with being in that space. So it's important to stay in the same bloody place and design your room how you want it to be. The most important part is diffusing resistance. They don't want to speak to a slimy salesperson. They want to speak to a professional human. Diffusing resistance doesn't stop here. In fact, to be honest, this is literally the beginning of diffusing resistance. Because the reason why this is so important is because remember when we ran before over this photo, we need to take them from this to this, right? We need to take them from stressed to relaxed. Now, this is a step-by-step framework on exactly how you can do this. I literally was closing at 76% every month and topping every leaderboard that I'd been on since I learned this, which is introduce yourself with a smile, good energy, right? Ask where they're from. The reason why you're asking where they're from is because you're going to be able to establish financing options. Now, if somebody says that they're from Australia, your financing options are pretty slim, to be honest. If somebody says that they're from, or they live in America, financing options are literally unmatched. If somebody says they're from the UK, then you know you're going to struggle to get them financed, right? So it's always important to say this, and it's also good for small talk too. But you don't want small talk. This is literally the most small talk that I would accept from any of my students. 3, they're going to watch the video before the call. It's called a pre-call video. You're going to ask for their takeaways from the video. You'll find out about this more later. And then 4, after you've asked them about the takeaways from the video, you're going to make a joke about how boring the video is or whether it put them to sleep before you ask for their takeaways. They'll say, no, like it didn't put you to sleep, did it? No, it didn't bore you to death, no. Hee ha. Wow, you're so funny. Yeah, now they're marinated, right? Now they're like slowly cooking. It's literally this simple. And like the whole thing that I teach is going to sound way too good to be true. It's going to sound way too simple. You're probably not going to believe that any of this is true, and that's fine, because I don't even mind whether you do or don't. I'm giving you this out of like free value rather than I don't benefit in any way from you taking this information, right? So it's important to realize that I'm literally putting you on game for free. I'm giving you exclusive access to what I teach my students to get them to 5 figures a month. Because once you encourage a safer environment, a funnier environment, a safe place for the prospect, you're going to get a deeper conversation. What happens once you get a deeper conversation is you're going to get more sales. And once you have more sales, then you're going to have more money in your bank account. This is a study that I found on Google, is that humans within 33 to 100 milliseconds, which is like 1/10 of a second, right? They're already evaluating trustworthiness. Between 300 milliseconds to 500 milliseconds, which is what, half a second, humans are already judging you on your personality. They're already making assumptions on your trustworthiness, on your warmth, just from saying hello. Everybody knows the 7-second rule, right? It's like the universal benchmark, basically, where the brain locks in and it's snap judgment. The brain locks in on its snap judgments, basically. And essentially what's going to happen is, like, if you see me as a bum, then for the next hour, you're going to be looking for reasons to cement why I'm a bum. If you come to the call and you think that I'm a pressureful salesperson, what you're going to find is that when we're on the call, you're going to look for reasons to believe that I'm a pressureful salesperson. And by doing this, what you do is you remove this, because when people laugh, it eases tension. Naturally, there's just so many like psychological benefits to laughing that somebody is literally on your side. Think about laughter as an emotion. What is it? It's impulsive. You can't really control laughter. It's just something that happens. And so when somebody has an impulse emotion around you, they're naturally going to trust you more. So this is why you need to make somebody laugh, to diffuse them, to disarm them, and to essentially eliminate any resistance that comes into the call. Because when you create a safe place for somebody to open up, like I said, they're going to tell you everything that is required for you to make the sale. They're going to sell themselves. You don't need to sell them, right? This is literally where the sale is made. Because if somebody feels like they're being sold, what's going to happen? They're going to walk away. Because essentially what you're doing is you're chasing the sale. You're trying to sell someone, you're chasing them. What happens if you chase a cat? Runs away, mate. And who on earth is going to chase a cat? So why would you chase a human? Why would you chase a sale? Doesn't make sense. Attract the sale. And you attract the sale through the questions that you ask. You attract the sale from the way that you present yourself. You attract the sale in the way that you articulate, in the way that you present, and the way that you deliver your questions. Okay? So step 2, obviously, is asking the right questions. So many people get this so entirely wrong. And it literally breaks my heart to see this, because it's so easy to get right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop you 2 single individual words that will shape the future outcomes that you have when you're on sales calls, when you're on interviews, when you're on networking calls, so that you can get the outcomes that you're looking for. Intention and sequence. There's only one thing that stops a sales call from closing. Can you guess what it is? I'll give you 3, 2, 1. objections. So you need to learn how to solve objections, but not at the end of the call. You need to learn how to handle them before they come up. So you need to understand what objections actually are and how they come up and what words actually mean certain objections, because if you leave it to the end of the call, it's going to become a massive bloody problem for you, mate. Your questions need to have the intention of solving objections and have the right sequences. An example of this was if this wasn't true, then somebody could jump onto a call and you could be like, all right, cool, what's the 16 digits, mate? They're going to be like, wait, what? Because they're coming to the call, and the whole reason why they're on the call is because they have a problem. The reason that they have a problem is because they haven't solved the problem. The reason that they're not solving the problem is because the problem's too scary to solve, seems too big to solve. They don't believe in their ability to solve the problem, so they come to you for your help. And if you don't analyze why they need your help, they're never going to buy their help in the first place, mate. Yeah? So the idea and the actual solution to this is we need to help people understand that there is literally only one objection. It's not because the only objection that we should ever get, and there's only one objection that we should ever get, is not think about it, it's not partner, it's not anything like that. It is solely fear. So the quicker that we understand how to get to the fear objection, the sooner that we can close the deal. Now I've got videos on my YouTube breaking down the sales processes, showing you exactly how to get there. But the idea of this is that it's short, sweet, and snappy. I've taught all of my students this, and this is how they're all crushing right now. It's because this is essentially, but to summarize it for you, this is the sequence of questions that I'm normally going to ask when I'm on a sales call. And I'm going to explain to you why I ask these questions too. And if you have any questions, then you can follow me on Instagram and you can drop me a DM and be like, yo, Jack, I didn't understand this. Can you provide me with some more clarity? So what we do first is we ask questions around their goals, because what we're doing is we're building a mountain, right? Now their goals are at the top of the mountain, at the top of the climb, right? This is where the life is, where they make 20 grand a month, they're able to retire their mum, they're able to pay off their mum's debt, they're able to pay off the mortgage. Everything is just rolling in the right direction, basically. Yeah, this is the life that they want to live. Dream life. Then you want to find out where they are in comparison to their goals, because once they understand that they are down here in comparison to where they want to be, what are they going to feel? Something called a gap, right? Which is just a horrible feeling of cognitive dissonance, unalignment, incongruency. If you don't know what those words mean, like, it means that you're just going to feel empty and tense, basically, right? Because if you genuinely think about everything that you could have achieved by now and you realize that you haven't achieved it, it's not going to feel very nice, is it? And that's what's called a gap. Once you've done that, you want to ask them, well, what stopped them from achieving and taking actions towards their goals? They're going to say fear. And then essentially they're seeing fear as something that protects them, right? It's like, so if I say to this guy, why did you not climb up the mountain? If I didn't have time, I'd be like, well, if you knew that you'd get to the top, would you make the time? Yes. Okay. Well, put time to the side. What would you do? No, I would have climbed it. Okay. Well, what stopped you from climbing it? Fuck, I just didn't know if I was going to make it. Sure. I mean, I didn't. They're going to say, well, sure, I didn't believe I was going to make it. Okay. Well, did you believe you're going to make it? No. All right. Well, that's normal, right? And then, boom, now you're into like a lack of belief, which is caused by fear, as an example. And this will happen time after time after time. But essentially what they're seeing is they're seeing this fear of them not climbing the mountain as something that's protecting them. Okay, cool. I'm not climbing the mountain because I might die. I'm not climbing the mountain because I might fall. I'm not climbing the mountain because I might fail. The issue with that is that the whole thinking that I might fail stops them from climbing the mountain, which leaves them upset at the bottom of the mountain, which has them always thinking about what life would be like at the top. But because of this fear blocking them here from actually crossing the mountain and climbing the mountain, they never actually climb it. So they get stuck in this perpetual cycle of never actually taking action, always wanting to take action, but having this emotional weight in their stomach sinking them to the bottom. I know I can definitely relate to that, and that's how I know this, because that was literally me. So once we've done that, we need to help them visualize a life without fear, right? Because we need to help them understand that fear is a roadblock and it's not something that's serving them. So imagine this, right? Like 6 months down the line, boom, you remove that fear. You can see the top of the mountain. You take step after step after step after step after step. You get to the top in 6 months' time. You're making 20 grand a month. You feel super proud of yourself because you're like, yeah, I am that guy. And you can provide for your mum. You can take her on holiday. You can pay off her debt. You can do whatever you want to do. When you imagine that, what type of man do you see at the top of the mountain? yeah, proud man, happy man. Now all of a sudden they're imagining their life without fear. And what's that going to do? That's going to show them the exact process, the exact feeling, the exact everything, right? To take them to a position where they have a reason to step through the fear. Because if the whole reason why they're on the call is because they want to achieve the goal, the reason why they haven't achieved that goal is because they're facing fear. When they're facing fear, the whole reason why they're facing the fear is because they haven't overcame it. So if you're able to articulate and describe a situation in their life that sounds so perfect to them, that is the fear removed and them overcoming it, then guess what, mate? They're so much more likely to buy because you are that person who has created that environment for them. 1, they trust you. 2, they have a vision for their life. 3 is the most important though, because what you're going to do is you're going to help them to visualize life continuing with the fear. Because imagine the other side of it, right, is that you don't. The other side of it is that you continue to get blocked by this cloud of fear for your entire life. And you imagine what life's like at the top of the mountain, but you never really get there. And you have to sit there in 6 months thinking, damn, what if? Because if you imagine that side of things, what type of man will you see sitting at the bottom of the mountain? Unhappy, sad, annoyed, unfulfilled. That, my friend, is the sequence of questions that you need to ask in this way to help somebody overcome their fear. So if all of this is making sense to you right now and this genuinely resonates and you feel like, oh damn, this is actually making sense, you're fed up of wasting your time, you have like a little bit of money saved up maybe from your work because you've been working hard, and you understand that the successful people in life, they leverage their money to make the most of their time because they want success fast. They don't want to wait. Then you can go ahead and look in the description. There's a link where you can book a call. You're either going to speak to me or a member of my team. We can give you a personal roadmap because it's pretty hard to give you something a lot more personalized on a video like this, and we can rock and roll from there. Before we go on to the next part, which is landing an offer, this is the cash collector's way. There are 1,000,001 ways to land an offer. I offer all of the boys 300 new job opportunities posted every single month inside the community on our own custom software. You can see here we got roles for $20,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $5,000 a month, 30,000, 40,000, anyway, so on and so forth. Won't bore you with it, but this is essentially it. This is how people are able to get on the offers, right? In the first place, this is how people find the roles. Now, essentially what they're doing is they're making 10K a month because of how I teach them to apply with the right looms, with the right structures, with the right personalizations, and also how to smash the interviews as well. However, obviously, you're not in my program, which is why you're watching this video, because you want to get free value, which is absolutely fine. So I'm going to give you something else instead, right? It's nowhere near as complicated as probably I've made out and everybody else is making out online, right? It's super flippin' simple. Don't pedestalize it. Find high ticket sales pages, group chats, pages on socials. You want to message and apply for 30 to 50 roles a day. If you don't have a network and a strong network or somebody to provide you with opportunities, you need to rely on volume. Volume will be your best friend. And essentially what you need to do is you need to explain how skilled you are and why they won't hire anybody else. You need to grind that, rinse and repeat until you land an offer. So literally, again, find sales pages, group chats, pages on socials, 30 to 50 roles a day, rinse and repeat until you land an offer. Okay? So, look, I'm not going to lie, right? Like, it would be so easy for me to like really overcomplicate it and just knowledge bomb you until you get so confused that you have no other alternative but to come to me and reach out and be like, Jack, I need the help. But this is literally it. Being simple with things in life will mean that your income will scale. If you make things complex, then the operation of income scaled will be failed. And I don't imagine that you want to fail scaling your income. You want to succeed, right? Of course you do. I do. Everybody does. Everyone wants to make money. Look, I know a lot of this, right? It sounds too good to be true. It sounds so simple. I'm not asking you to believe me. To be honest, I don't even care whether you believe me or not. What I care about is the success and the impact I'm able to have on an industry that I wish I was able to access this type of knowledge all the way back then. Look, I know a lot of this sounds way too good to be true. Like, I know. It sounds so simple. It sounds so dumb. And everyone wants to pedestalize it, right? But the reason that your brain's making it overcomplicated right now is not because it's actually overcomplicated. It's to satisfy your ego so that you don't have to take action, so that it feels overwhelming. I promise you, because I've been there and I know it. And I studied countless hours of human psychology, so I get it. I promise you, the simpler you keep it, the faster progress that you'll make, the easier it will be to make money. Making money online is not difficult. People pedestalize it because it genuinely has such a insane slingshot, catapult trajectory change once you let it go. That, like, there is nothing else in this world quite like it. Like, learning this and learning how to make money online, I literally traveled to 20 countries in 2 years. I live in Cyprus now, outside of the UK. I drive whatever car I want. I wear whatever watch I want. I literally can go wherever I want to go. I live a life of complete freedom, all because I kept it simple and followed this exact same process that I'm teaching you now, that I've taught over 155 other people as well. Look, after 10 days, landed a role, knew nothing about closing. Thanks, G. Eddie, never knew what high ticket sales really was. Even when I saw your Instagram, I joined 21 days later, landed a role. Easy. Tyler, videographer scaling off price points 10k, didn't even have any experience. Objection handled the interviewer, then objection handled him as well. Then objection handled him into cancelling his final interview, start training tomorrow. First offer landed, he literally, this was 1 day into the program. Bobby, yeah, like literally first role landed, like he left his job on a building site already, bang. 8 days later, landed a role. Landed a role 10 days after, being a sales manager for 6 years, and this is the highest level of training and quality that I've ever received. So I don't say these things to glaze myself, right? As much as I do love to do that, I say this because if you want to get results, you're going to have to listen. I want to see so many comments on this video saying like, Jack, this is the most helpful video that I've watched all year. I applied all of this knowledge and now I'm making money online. To me, that would literally make my heart explode with joy. Simple but effective, right? Because once you land the interview, the next step is smashing the interview. You don't just land an offer out of nowhere, right? Like, you have to interview, sometimes 2 interviews, sometimes 3 interviews. I've only ever seen people explain what I'm about to show you behind closed doors and paywalls, meaning that I've only ever seen this explained in mentorships that I've offered. I've never seen it explained on YouTube before. The interview must go like this. You make them want you. You attract the opportunity rather than chasing it. Kind of like a date, right? Like, you're not going to start like really buying into the girl and being like, oh my God, you're so amazing. Wow, like I really want to go on a second date with you. Of course you're not, right? You're going to make them want to go on a second date with you. Same thing here. You have to make the person who's interviewing you actually want you more. How do you do this? You interview them and you always finish the questions that they ask you with questions. So let's say what separates you from other people on the team. You can say something like, well, sure, I imagine you're expecting me to like really sell you on this, right? And like give you the answer that everybody else would say, like, I'm so coachable, I'm so like fucking fantastic, I'll track all of my numbers, I'll work harder than everybody else. An example of this, right, is that like, an example of this is that you jump on an interview, the interviewer asks you, okay, cool, tell me, why are you different to everybody else? You can reply with something that's going to really break his pattern. He's not going to be expecting this answer. You can say something like, well, I imagine like everybody else would sit there and tell you, I'm so hardworking, I'm super coachable, I'm going to make you the most money, I'm going to be the most self-sufficient. However, honestly, while all of that is true, I'm not going to sit here and like completely sell you on that fact. Let me ask you this. What is it that you need to see from somebody to actually make it worth hiring them? What is that showing him? It's showing him, 1, that you've been on a lot of interviews, you understand how interviews work. 2, it's showing him that you know how to control a call. 3, you're actually genuinely interested in his perspective. Overall, you're just a G if you answer a question like that. When I'm hiring for sales teams that I'm managing and also for myself and for my team, and somebody asks me a question on an interview, I'm thinking, bravo, good job. Salespeople ask questions, they don't make statements. Rookie salespeople answer questions. Professional salespeople answer questions with questions. Professional salespeople never answer questions. The reason why this is, by the way, is because when you answer a question, you're losing frame. If you ask me a question and I answer it, that shows that like you have control of the conversation, right? If you ask me a question, then I'm going to answer that with a question because that shows that I have control of the conversation. And sure, there might be a bit of back and forth, a bit of I answer with a question and you answer with a question and I answer with a question, but I'm not afraid to sit in that uncomfortable pocket until you answer my question. Or I'm just going to call it out and be like, bro, are you playing like question tennis right now? Like, what's going on? I'm confused. Bang. Then you're going to answer my question and then I win. Now you're in the palm of my hand. That is how sales works. That is a brief explanation of how sales works. Like, essentially what you want to do on the interview is you want to demonstrate extreme sales acumen and skill set. And the key part is that you need to objection handle them at the end. The reason why all of my boys are landing roles where you can make 10, 20 grand a month on offers is because they are objection handling the interviewer at the end. There's so many different ways that I can go on and show you how to do this. Essentially, you're going to need to figure it out, right? Because everybody is different and everybody works in different ways. But you can't let somebody off a call until they make a decision whether to tell you no, fuck off, or yes, you're hired. Step number 3. I'm sure you can tell by now, like, I don't just see sales as like a way of making money, right? Although it is, I see it as an actual art form. Like, this is what is different about what I teach, because for me, it's like I genuinely care so much about the intricacies of sales that, like, is literally my life. I'm sure you can see by now that sales to me is not just a way of making money, right? Like, to me, it's an art form, because I genuinely care about the intricacies of sales, because when you understand the small, meaningful details behind each and every word, behind each and every line, and each and every question, your whole world just opens up in front of you and says, take me on. That is the most important part, because you'll know when you've hit this point. You'll know when you've got to the point of like mastering that art, because you can take a call which is meant to last an hour and close it within 45 minutes, collecting piff after piff, and you'll get messages like this from other closers on your team like, bro, how are you getting all of these piffs? You're literally outperforming everyone. He actually put the sales manager's name, but it's from I posted it on my Instagram a while back, so I didn't want to bait out the sales manager. I said, I'm just doing my thing, bro, chilling, taking 3 to 4 calls a day is best for me. This company was making $800,000 a month. What I'm about to explain is for the people who actually want to take it seriously, because in this industry, you've got 2 types of people. You got the types of people who want to make 10k a month, that's their goal, and they're happy with that. Then you have the serious guys who are actually about it. Because they see sales as something that when they master it, it's no longer just a bit of extra money, but it is a gateway to success that once remained unnoticed. So if you see yourself as the type of person who actually wants to learn it at deeper than just a core level, you want to learn the fundamental layers to moving and influencing conversations to people who you can literally take them from, no, I don't want to speak to you, to how can I pay you money, then this next part is going to be for you. If it's not, then that's totally fine, because some people don't want to watch this far. You can go ahead and follow me on Instagram, book a call with me, whatever you want to do. But for those of you who do want to say it, then listen to this, because the art form is fundamental for reaching heights of success that others don't. The number 1 rule you must operate from is sales is the law of the mirror. It's going to sound woo-woo, right? But the most important part is that you have to handle your own objections. Because in life, we're always giving ourselves objections, and nobody actually understands this, right? We're always thinking, we're always hesitating, we're always delaying. And when I say we, I mean you. I mean me as well, but I overcome my own objections. I do hesitate. I do think about things. I do feel fear. I do feel all of these things. I do get scared as fuck sometimes, and I don't know what to do, and I get paralyzed by fear, but I just take action. I overcome my objections, and you can do exactly the same thing. Because what essentially is that you can't think about it, right? You can't let fear hold you back, because that will be the exact same objection that you get on your call. And after you finish the call, you're going to be sat there thinking, bugger, why didn't that close up? Terrible lead anyway. This offer's rubbish. Doesn't make sense. And the same on an interview, right? They're going to be like, we'll think about it. We'll get back to you in a few days. And we'll let you know which one we go ahead with. You think I'm ever letting any of those go, mate? You think I'm ever letting somebody walk away from a call with me saying that? Whether it's an interview or a sales call? Absolutely not. You best believe the only way that somebody is ever leaving a call with me is by hanging up, or it's by saying, look, Jack, I'm just not going to do this. And I'll be like, cool, respect, no worries, I'll see you later. Because that is the standard that you need to hold people to. It's not because I care about the money that much, I'm just like, you're not leaving, right? It's because it's about holding people to a higher standard, because that's what it encourages, because that's what encourages change. That's how I'm getting people to hit $12,000 in 2 weeks from 3 hours a day. This kind of information is not accessible to the public, right? Because what you have to understand is that sales will help you hold yourself to the highest standard possible, which means success is the only outcome. Imagine the next level of success that you could achieve. Imagine holding yourself to that standard. Learning the art of sales is so key for that, because it literally took me from a closer making 15 to 20 grand a month to a business owner making 49, 50, 60, 70, 80 grand in a single month. You might ask, Jack, why on earth did you sacrifice 15 to 20k a month for something that you didn't know was going to work? Why did you go back to zero? And so this is a question I ask myself as well. You see, the thing is, right, is that before I made 40k in a month, 50k in a month, I had no idea what I was going to do. I was at zero and I was terrified. I just moved to a different country. I didn't know what to do. Didn't have any money really. Spent all my money on lifestyle. And the reason is because I had to hold myself to a higher standard, because the only thing stopping me was fear of it not working out. Now my program is consistently producing the top performing sales reps in the industry. And every single one of those sales reps works the least amount of hours out of anybody else, and they make the most. So you have to ask yourself this, right? And these are going to be a bunch of questions that you can ask yourself now. So I want you to answer these truthfully in your own mind. If there was no fear in your life, what would you do differently? How would you act? What risks would you take? How would you live your life? What would you go all in on? Would you leave your job? Would you hold yourself to a higher standard? What higher standard would you hold yourself to? What would you start doing that you're not doing right now? Because every single day counts in this life. And you can't let days slip by and expect to succeed. You can't. It's impossible. So here is an opportunity for you. If you want the exact same blueprint as I gave to Max, that will teach you everything that you need to know to not just start making money online, but to beat everybody else around you and to actually win, then I have a surprise for you. If you're still here, that's a sign. That's a sign to yourself that you're willing to commit. It's a sign to yourself that you know that you're meant for more. If you go to the description of this video, you're going to see a Calendly link that you can book in with either me or a member of my team. And what this is going to do is we're going to walk you through step by step the exact process that we use to create results like this. Because you know yourself, right? You can't keep living below your potential. And if you're watching this far into the video, you know that there were some takeaways that you've learned. You know that there's something new that you've watched that you thought, do you know what? That actually makes sense. And so don't stop here. Don't let yourself stop here. You're worth more than that. You have a higher potential to reach. You have a higher ceiling to cap. And your success will never expand past the way that you view yourself. And the way that you view yourself can be manipulated by the actions that you take. And what that means is that in order for you to see yourself in a different way, sometimes you need to take different actions first. And so if you're seeing yourself in a way where, oh, I can't make money online, this is too good to be true, of course, because you keep taking actions that cement that. But if you want to start taking different actions in a different way, then you can go to the link on this video, you can book in a call with me and my team, and we can help you, and we will see you on the other side. Ciao.